Hello, my name is Amy White, and today I will be conducting an oral history interview with Angelina Rogers as part of my coursework at Liberty University's History PhD program. Angelina Rogers is an entrepreneur that works at a business called Forest Circle, where she revives and refurnishes antique furniture. Hello, Angelina. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. Hello.
Good. I can't thank you enough for meeting me today. I just need you to affirm yes or no verbally consenting to the recording of this conversation with audio and video formatting. Do I have your permission?
Yes, you do.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Okay, so as we go along, the questions will appear on the screen, and just feel free to talk at will and tell me just about yourself and pertaining to the question. So
Okay.
question number one.
Go ahead.
Please tell me your name, birth year, and your career background.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angelina Rogers. I was born in 1980. And my birthday is in next week. So I'm about to turn 41. So right out of high school, I joined the Air Force. My father had been in the Navy. His father had been in the service. So it was kind of a standing tradition. I knew I wanted to go to college, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do just yet. So I knew the military provided great benefits and education to go along with it. So I decided to enlist. I loved it. I seriously loved my career. First, I worked with computers, hardware and software, worked a help desk, installation, repair. I did that for about 9 years. And then I cross-trained into education and training. And I got to work with a lot of different career fields as far as meeting their educational needs. And I did that for 11 years. It was a wonderful job, a nice office job. And then I retired after 20 years. I did 20 years in the military. And my husband and I moved to Ohio. And I was kind of in a position where I had the freedom to choose what I wanted to do. And it's, it's really a unique position. I was able to go to college full time and decide and pick, anything I wanted to do. And I started to work with furniture. And I had never done that before, a little bit here or there. My dad was very handy. He could fix anything around the house. My grandmother was very handy. Come from a very crafty, artsy family. And I just started doing 1 or 2 pieces at a time. And I fell in love. And being in the position of being a military retiree, I have a full-time income, or retirement income. I'm able to go to college and work. What started out as a hobby, working on furniture, has turned into more of a business. So.
Fantastic, thank you. Now, how would you describe your work ethic or weekly work schedule now that you're kind of semi-retired, semi-student, and also holding down this new business as an entrepreneur?
So I don't have a lot of time off. While I am going to college full-time at Ohio State University, I'm getting a degree in history because I've always enjoyed history, and working with furniture, I kind of need to know what was going on with historical events. So while I'm in class during the semester, I don't get to work as much as I want to on my business. But when I am not in class, I am working on furniture. It'll be 11 o'clock at night and I'm in here painting. On the weekends, my neighbors wake up to saws because I'm working on stuff in the garage. So I was taught from a very early age, life is what you make it. And my parents were very hardworking, and they told me that I can never get anything for free. I have to work towards it. I enjoy my business. I enjoy what I do. So I work hard at it. I love it. And that's what I really enjoy about having my own business. is I get out what I put into it. So I work a lot, but it's not really work. It's something I love to do. So I don't know how to describe it.
That's
But
fantastic. Thank you.
Mhm.
Now, did you grow up in the Midwest? As some of you might know, I live in Ohio. Or if not, where? And where have you lived?
Okay, so I was born in Utah, Salt Lake City. My father's side of the family is from Utah. When I was about 5, we moved to Texas. That's where my mom's side of the family is from. I lived in Texas, in Texarkana, very southern, there is a church on every corner, very family oriented, tight-knit community. Everyone knows everyone. It's a great place to grow up. I really enjoyed my childhood. So I lived there from 2nd grade until I graduated from high school. And then I joined the military straight out of high school. So I graduated, in May or June, and I was going to San Antonio by January. While we have basic training in Texas. I lived in Oklahoma City at Tinker Air Force Base for a few years. I went to South Korea. I was stationed there for a year. That was a very memorable experience. Great food, and also a lot of hardworking people there. They are a lot of good businesses there. And from there, I went to Barksdale. I went back. It's in Louisiana. I wanted to be close to my mother. My father had passed away. So I wanted to be close to her. Family is very important to me. So I lived in Barksdale for a while, where I met my husband. We got married and had 2 kids. Then we moved to Georgia. So I've always lived, except for my time in Korea, South Korea, I always lived in southern states.
Okay. And how do you think that movement throughout your life has really impacted your work ethic and how you resolve to get things done in a timely manner?
So being in the military, I come from a unique position. Being in the military, there is no downtime. You can't really just sit around. You are constantly working. The jobs I had as an education and training manager, I was in an office by myself. So I was self-managed. I worked directly for the commander, who would be the boss, you would call. So my work was what I put into it. So if I didn't do a good job, it reflected, and it could be easily seen. So I worked very hard. I really enjoyed it. Moving around a lot. Obviously, I worked with a lot of different people, a lot of different types of people as far as their work ethic. So that helped. It really gave me gave me a very broad perspective of what kind of person I want to be. I could see someone who did not work hard, who showed up to work late, who did the minimum. I could see what happens with that. And so I knew which direction I wanted to go. Also, having a lot of different bosses. I've had so many different managers, and from each one you learn something new. From the good boss and the bad boss, you pick up the traits that you want to incorporate in your own life. So definitely being in I'm very thankful for my military experience. I had a really nice, somewhat easy job as an office job, managing education and training, making sure people did their continued education. They got scheduled for classes. I worked with security forces, and they're jumping out of planes and going on 50-mile rucksack marches, and they need active shooter training and stuff. So it was unique. I got to watch them do that. So, but yeah, I always worked with a lot of hardworking people, and so that not only I saw what I wanted to be, but it also motivated me, because you don't want to be that person that is falling behind. So
Right. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So a lot of times with entrepreneurs, you see how their hobbies really build into what they end up choosing to do. For instance, my father does bicycles because he enjoys biking, and he wants to know how to fix his own stuff, so he fixes other people. How or Rather, what are your hobbies in other areas of interest?
Okay, so I have a lot of hobbies. I always have. I've always had creative outlets. I draw, I embroider, I crochet. As far let's see, obviously painting, a lot of furniture. And then I do a lot of outdoor stuff. I like to get out in nature. I go for a lot of hikes and go fishing a lot. So I don't like to sit still very often. I am always working on something. And I also think that, idle hands. I constantly like to be doing something and to be productive. And that even with the hobbies, it's enjoyable, but I've always felt that you should be using your time to contribute somehow, to make something. I don't spend, I have a few TV shows I like to watch, sit down with my husband, but I don't spend I try not to spend a lot of time like that. I might have something playing in the background as I'm working, just for that background noise. But just from my work ethic in the military, you constantly have to be moving forward and doing something, and that even goes over in my hobbies. Now I don't get, I get tired every once in a while. I need to take a nap, but yeah, I enjoy getting out there and enjoying new things. This past year I found kayaking. It's been really amazing. I was driving by, we have a local place called Trapper John's, and I was driving by and I was like, I've always wanted to do that, but I never did it. And I think a lot of people fall into that category. They see something, they're like, I want to do that. Nothing ever happens. So after I retired from the military and I have the time and the money and the resources and a very supportive and understanding husband, that's a key factor right there. I try to get out there and enjoy everything. There's just so many wonderful things here in Ohio. It's an amazing state as far as things to do in Columbus, the parks, the recreation. So I definitely get out there and enjoy it and try to spread all my hobbies out.
Fantastic. Okay, so we kind of already hit on this, but if you could kind of explain more about your educational history as far as after high school. Where did you go to school, and what were you studying, and how's that progressed to where you are now?
Okay. So while I was in the Air Force, my first career field, as I mentioned before, was small computers. So I took a lot of computer courses. While I was at Tinker, I started working on my college, my life of college. So I went to Rose State. It was just a local community college, and took care of some of the basic courses. When I went to Korea, I didn't really do anything there. When I got back to Barksdale, I went to Louisiana Technical University, and by then I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I know that having a college degree is important. If you want a good job, a job with security, then you need to have a college degree. So that's something my parents did not go to college. My mom never did. My dad did later in life. He got hurt at work and they paid for him to go back to school, and he became a respiratory therapist. But before then, no one had been to college. But my father had taught me, all through growing up, he was like, you have to find something that you love. You have to find something that can support you and your family. You need to be able to take care of yourself and not depend on anyone. He said it in a loving way. But I've always been told, you have to go to college or get a trade. You have to be able to take care of yourself. So when I'm in Louisiana, just going to college, I'm not sure really what I want to do. By the time I get married and go to Georgia, I kind of, settled on, want to go into education. I had been working in education and training with adults for a few years, and I really enjoyed it. I had taught a lot of classes. I had been to a lot of classes on how to teach. So I'm like, well, this is what I'm going to do. By then I had been to like 4 different colleges. So I'm kind of, I have to transfer a lot of credits here and there. But being in the military and going to college, some people can, and other people it's a little bit hard because of deployments. And so it's very, people who can go to college and get their degree, I'm really thankful that they could do that. For me, it was a little bit hard because of where I worked. So I took care of classes here or there as I could. So I got my associates. By the time 20 years it took me to get an associate's, which is not really, can't get you anything. So after I retired from the Air Force and we moved here to Ohio, I decided, I settled, I'm going to become, I wanted to go into elementary education. So I, applied at all the different universities and I got into Ohio State, and my mom was so happy. My mom, she had always felt bad that she could not afford to send us to the colleges that we wanted. And so she was so, and my father's like, if you join the military, then they'll pay for your college. So I was, yeah. So my mom was very, very just overwhelmed with happiness once I got into Ohio State. She knew what it was, a university. So, and, here I am, 39 or 40, and, I'm so excited. So the short-term goal for my educational life was to get a degree in elementary education, to work at that, but continue to go to school to get a master's in history, and maybe more. I started to work with the furniture more, and I talked to my husband and we had a heart to heart, and I told him, like, this is what I really love to do. I'm like, we have the resources where I can do this and, still bring in a nice income until we are firmly established with my business. And I'm very, very lucky to have a supportive husband who said, okay, so you don't want to become an elementary school teacher. Okay, but you have a plan. So that's where we're going. So we removed the elementary education. I'm going to continue to forge ahead to get my master's in history, because I always want that degree. So that's where I'm at today with my education.
Very good. Good to have a plan. So my next question is, how has your previous work and academic experience impacted your work as an entrepreneur?
Okay, well, obviously in the military, they're very hardworking. You have to be resilient in the military as well. And I've learned that the type of work that I do with my business, things always don't go as planned. So sometimes it can get a little frustrating. Sometimes there's disappointment, sometimes there's excitement. So being very resilient has been very, very helpful. That's something I've carried from the military, just working past the 9 to 5, working overtime, and, knowing it doesn't matter how long you work, you're still gonna, in the military, you still get paid the same rate no matter what. So working way into the early morning hours, I do that a lot. As far as my academic experience, I use a lot of the skills, I guess writing skills, communication is very important. Also work and academic networking. Networking is very important. Getting to know people, communicating well with them. So those are things that I learned, that I pulled from my military experience and my academic experience to help my business.
Thank you. Okay, my next question is, can you define your business at Forest Circle? What do you do? How do you carry out your business?
Okay, so Forest Circle Furniture. So what I repurpose and reimagine furniture. Uh, I I have I don't believe I think a lot of things are wasted. I think a lot of things are we are such a use it once and throw it away society, and it is extremely frustrating, um, and and it's really bad for the environment. So I noticed here a lot, a lot of people get furniture and they use it for a while and it breaks and they're just ready to get rid of it and everything, and I'm like, no. We can fix that or make it into something different. I will say one thing. So Forest Circle comes from the street I grew up on, so that's kind of reflecting back to where I grew up and the values that my parents taught me to, work hard, to not waste anything. So that's kind of, from my parents. But so what do I do? So right now I'm in a position, I will acquire furniture, or I'll get hired to take care of a piece. We'll say like a dresser. Clean it up, really cleaning. Oh my gosh. So, repairing furniture, taking off all the broken hardware, replacing the hardware, thinking about different ways to use the furniture. Taking, like, one of my favorite pieces that I like to do. I have one in the garage just waiting for me to finish college. So I like to take old sewing machines, like Singer sewing machines, that your grandmother probably had, it's somewhere dusty in the basement. But I'll take that sewing machine and I'll redo the top, take off the top. And then I will make a new table out of it. And then the items that I remove, I usually keep most of the items, like the hinges. I'll keep those to reuse in future pieces. And then I also find a lot of little stuff. It's always so cute. It's like the treasures that you find. I find like the little sewing bobbins, and I found coins in furniture, and I keep all of that stuff. I have a little thing up there. I keep all the little treasures I find because I think it's funny. This lady, she was a Korean lady, and she sewed like all her life, and so there's like this little pencil that's just like, it's just sharpened down to the little bitty point, and so I kept that. I'm like, I know what it is, and it meant something to someone, so I'm gonna keep that going until my kids get a hold of it. Who knows what'll happen then. I will, and obviously there's a lot of painting with furniture. I don't come across, and keep this in mind, if it's a really unique, one of a kind antique, that's probably gonna be way outside my price range of purchasing that piece of furniture, so I wouldn't repaint that. But there is a lot of repainting. There is a lot of taking off and doing different things, adding shelves where shelves were not. So a lot of fun breaking stuff down to build it back up.
Oh, very good. Okay. The next question, without getting into too many details, where do you operate your business? Do you have a premises, or what do you do?
So right now I work out of my house. I have my own office space. That's all my own. So I will take care of my furniture here. Eventually, I do want to move into a regular brick and mortar. But the community that restores furniture, it is a large community, and we're pretty close knit, and we talk a lot and exchange ideas. A lot of people, they work out of their homes. They will work out of their garages or their workshops. when they go to sell their furniture, they'll either sell directly, or they will have a booth at an antique store or something like that. But most of the work will be done at their house or in their garage.
Probably makes it easier to get things done too with your busy schedule. Number 9, how do you handle the financial and accounting aspects of your business as an entrepreneur?
Okay, so I use I keep track of everything I spend, and then I have my program that I just put all this stuff in, and like the QuickBooks type thing, and it will let me know if I'm red or black. So I usually keep that away from my husband for a while when it's in the red if I had to go out and buy something. But yeah, so I'll just keep track of it on here. I save all of my paperwork in case I need to use it later on down the road. So, but yeah, I use software. Now, one day if my business gets larger, then I will move to a more, getting someone on the outside to help handle that. So, but I'm not quite there yet.
All right. Okay, so how long have you been in business as For a Circle?
So I've been doing this for about almost 2 years, about 1.5 years to going on kind of 2 years. So, and like I said before, it's up and down. Obviously I'm a lot busier in the summer. I have 1 week until I'm done with college. And then I can start, I have 4 months. I'm not taking any classes during the summer because there were none that I needed. So I will be working really hard for the next 4 months. And then it'll slow down once I'm in college. The winter, sometimes it can be really seasonal because in the winter it's cold. So outside working and it can be really chilly. So when I need to go wash something, so or work in the garage using my saws.
Okay, so number 11, what media platforms do you use for your business?
So networking is very important. You have to be an advocate for your own business. So having access in different platforms, having access to different platforms is essential. So the easiest one is Facebook. So I have a business page on Facebook. On there, I will share out. There are thousands of different groups of my customer base is mainly women who they like the farmhouse look. So my demographic is the farmhouse. So right now, so there are 1,000 farmhouse Facebook groups. So I will post my product on my page and then I will share that to that group. So now you could just share it to the group, but the people are not going to see that your business is on there. So you have to share from your business to that group. Also using Twitter, Instagram. I had a blog for a while, but sitting down to type everything out, a long dramatic story about where the sewing machine came from. I need my husband to write stuff for me. So using those, what else have I been using lately? So Instagram, Twitter. Now I'm really good on Facebook. I'll put a lot of stuff on Facebook, but I have slacked on Twitter and Instagram. So I have made a commitment to myself that this summer I've been practicing my tweets so I can get out there and do that. Also word of mouth. I have gained customers through other customers. So that networking, we have a lot of local, we have like a local moms group. So I'll forward stuff out to that as well. So now obviously these platforms, it costs money. So, promoting a post costs money. So making sure, and that goes back to that financial aspect, making sure that what you're selling you have accounted for all the promotions that go into it. And that can be frustrating at times. I had reposted something today and I'm like, I'm going to come out even on this one. I don't know. But, sometimes you just got to move a product to get it out. So, but yes, a lot of different media out there.
All right, number 12. What business practice have you found to be most advantageous to core circles?
Let's see. So, social media, getting out there, and bringing in customers, engaging with customers, has been very beneficial. So yeah, it really has. And then, and it's really nice. I'm a people person, so I enjoy these because I make friends along the way. So I'm not from Ohio, so I meet a lot of interesting people this way. So yeah, so definitely social media has, being very active on social media has been very, very helpful.
All right, number 13. Where do you draw your inspiration from in your work?
Oh, wow. This is a really good question. So sometimes given the choice, I'll start it this way. Given the choice between, we have a piece of furniture, I get a dresser, just an independent dresser. I buy a dresser and I'm going to remake it, or I get a commission. I like the one that I can do by myself, that I'm not being told what to do. So we'll get rid of that one there. But I will look at a piece and sometimes I know exactly what I want to do with it. And then other times it will take me a while. I just think when I look at a piece of furniture, I think about where I'd want to put it, what room I would want to put it in, and what I would want to use it for. I got a short dresser. It was probably maybe, if you're standing up, it's hitting you on the hips. So it's a really short dresser. I had like 2 drawers, and it didn't even come with drawers. So, but I got a really good deal. And I picked it up and the lady said, she's like, well, I wanted to do something with it, but I didn't know what. She's like, are you sure you want it? It doesn't have drawers. It's not a dresser. I'm like, it was a dresser, but it doesn't always have to be a dresser. So, I took it back and I thought about where would I want to put this, because it was a really good piece of furniture. It just had really good bones and you just had to build it up. And so it could serve a purpose again. Everyone wants to serve a purpose, even furniture. So I ended up, making, shelves in where the drawers went. And so we used it it was a buffet. So we turned it into a buffet. It didn't need drawers. It was open space underneath, a new top, and it was really gorgeous. This is a dark green because I like darker colors. We used it in the dining room for a little bit before it sold, and it was such a nice piece. And I sent the picture to the lady. I always ask them, like, do you want to see what happens to it? And sometimes most of the time people are like, yes. And she got it. I sent her the picture and she's like, I almost cried. She's like, I didn't know that it could be turned into something like that. And I was like, well, I'm like, it is a really beautiful piece. And I'm like, thank you for, I'm really grateful that I got it and I was able to use it. And then the person who bought it, just loved it. And, they'll send me pictures of it posed in their house and everything. And so that's always so nice. But my inspiration is I look at the piece and I think about where I would want it. And then I kind of let it fit to the room. Now, sometimes that changes. Sometimes I get done with a piece of furniture and I'm like, not going to work. So I'll let it sit and I'll rethink about it. So, but we just strategically place furniture around the house so my husband doesn't notice it too much.
All right. Okay, so in this modern age, how do you procure clients? We've kind of already touched on that, but if you have anything to add, that's great.
Yeah, just social media. It's very important. Hopefully I will continue to build upon my business. And then again, it's, word of mouth, social media, and then advertising more. I sit there and look, I'm like, I go to a lot of, I try to go to a lot of antique shops, and I'll be going a lot more this summer. And, hopefully one day I will be able to have my own booth at an antique store. But then again, there you're paying someone to sell your stuff. So the ultimate goal would be to have my own place. But it's just steps, and knowing what steps you have to take to get there. So right now, social media, eventually a brick and mortar place, and then maybe hopefully one day my own brick and mortar place.
Right. Okay, and our final question also kind of touched on it a little bit, but who are your general clientele?
Yes, so people who like farmhouse. So I redo a lot of dressers and a lot of girly stuff. Not a lot of male clients, not a lot. But as far as my female clients, all the age ranges from young people. I've sold to young people all the way up to older people, and everyone in between. It's very broad. People of all different races. It's not just a certain very specific demographic. The woman who wants farmhouse. It's women. A lot of women, obviously, multiple races, age groups, financial backgrounds. My furniture is not too expensive. And that's the thing too. It's things don't have to be overly expensive for you to have something that lasts a long time. So yeah, I've delivered to a lot of different places.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and letting me record you. Do you have anything else you would like to add?
Let's see. Just that, working hard is important, but also enjoying what you do. So I am very grateful and thankful that I'm in a position where I can do what I love. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.